Hello everyone, the Manadork here, and we're just gonna jump right into this tier list that I made. As you can see, I have 5 different tiers here, and I have 10 different commanders. These are the top 10 most popular commanders on EDHREC.com, and I decided that I wanted to base them all on this based-ass tier list on a few metrics. Well, the most important one being the psychograph of the player. If you're not a good person, if you're an annoying player, you're probably going to go in the cringe pile. However, if you don't play to win and you try to have fun, you're probably going to go in the base tier. So that's kind of what we're looking at here. And the other metric that we're kind of looking at is the design of the creature itself. Not the card itself, but how it looks, okay? Because I ain't going to put no ugly-ass cards in my deck. Are you? No, exactly. So because these are the top 10 most played commanders, they all automatically get started on the cringe tier list. And they will get moved up eventually as I see fit, or they may stay down here if, they're shitty enough. All right, so kicking off our tier list here, you got Atraxa, Praetor's Voice, probably the most basic commander that's ever existed. No one has shut up about this card for no, this card isn't 2020. This card's like 2016, 2015, somewhere around there. I'm so fucking sick of seeing this card. She do be thick, though. I mean, she's got thighs. She's got thighs for days. She fucking slays, dude. Like, I ain't gonna lie. The character design here is so amazing. I'm very stoked that we're going back to Phyrexia so we can see more of this. Maybe we'll see another version of her. Maybe she'll be better and she'll be the new #1 commander. But, art aside, we could put it in the mid, but I'm so sick of seeing lists. I'm so sick of hearing people talk about it online. I am so sick of just everything involving this card. It is staying on the cringe list. Next up, we have Yuriko, Tiger Shadow, the Commander Ninjutsu design mistake that I am in love with. I love her design. I want her to be my waifu, but she's fake, so I'll have to settle for a body pillow. In the meantime, though, it's got an amazing ability. It doesn't have 1,000 different keywords slapped on it like Atraxa does. It actually requires you to attack, which is probably my favorite aspect to Yuriko. So based off of just the looks, and also I play this deck, she automatically goes up in the base tier. Absolutely no fucking question about it. Next up, we have Prosper Tomebound, which he's probably going to stay in the cringe as long as we're just basing this off of the names. I can't stand the name. The card's new. I don't really care much about it. It's got these weird, Mystic Arcanum and Pact Boon, which is kind of what they're doing with Warhammer. Warhammer. I actually kind of like that. The aesthetic design of just that with the words in italics, that looks very nice. And I'm a big fan of it. And I hope that we continue moving forward with this in Magic. However, the type of player that would play Prosper Tomebound, let's see. At the beginning of your end step, exile the top card of your library. Until the end of turn, may play that card, blah, blah, blah. Okay, fine. That's a standard-ass red ability. And then whenever you play a card from exile, create a... Okay, since I'm not really too interested in this idea of this demon with the spell book and everything, and it's a treasure token deck. I can't stand treasure tokens. Stop with the treasure tokens. Nobody cares anymore. It's dumb and worthless and a bad patch fix for mana generating engines for commander decks or colors that really shouldn't have it anyways. And I think treasure designs is just not going to be good for the game in the long run. So you stay in the bad tier. Next up, we have the Dragon. It's a big boy, plays other big boys for cheaper costs. I love the lore of the Dragon being the essential progenitor for every dragon throughout the multiverse in Magic the Gathering. This is a great art. It shows the dragons for scale. I mean, look how fucking ruthless she looks, dude. Fucking Jesus. She could gore planets with that fucking schnoz up there. Look at that, dude. Yeah, man. This is the story of a girl who cried a river and was decent. It's a decent tiered card. A lot of people play it. It's like the go-to dragon deck, obviously. Just tired of seeing it everywhere. Tired of all these 4-color, 5-color decks. You know, if you're going to play something like that, maybe play something weird and different. But until then, we're going to get like Kenrith and dragon decks until the end of fucking time. Next up, we got Omnath, Locus of Creation. He kind of looks like that one political meme. Oh, God, what was it? It's not Paul Ryan, is it? I can't remember his name. But anyways, Omnath does way too much stuff. It got banned out of Modern for a good reason, or Standard, whatever. I don't pay attention to Modern anyways. This card does way too much, and this card is way too streamlined. It's got great art. It's pretty much got great art just because it reminds me of the Jeb Bush. That's the name. It reminds me of the Jeb Bush memes. 100% Omnath all across the board. Everyone across America is playing Omnath. And for good reason, because it slaps. But slappability is not a good metric on this. And I will say, it's mid. You can expect to see it everywhere. No one's really going to get too excited when you play against the Omnath player. The Omnath player probably isn't too excited to play the deck anyways in the first place. So I think mid is a good stable spot for Omnath. All right, for arguably probably my least favorite commander on this list, Kenrith the Returned King, does 5 generic things, and it just is probably the most boring design I've ever seen, and the art is also incredibly boring. I really dislike this fat-faced motherfucker right here. His smugness. If I could make a tier lower than cringe, I would, but you get to sit here and hang out with the tracks in cringe prison. Next up, we have Edgar Markov, aka the Diet Dragon. Pretty much the same thing. You're pooping out a bunch of vampires. It's probably way better than Dragon if I had to take a guess. I never really played against many Edgar Markov decks. I do own this card. I do own this deck, but I don't pilot it myself. It's a gift for my girlfriend. I have this deck and then the Arabo deck for her. I would put this on the base if I was playing it. I do love this art. I love everything about the story that it's telling of just how badass this guy is, and he just looks directly into your soul as all of his peons are fitting this armor. And then you got this one guy offering blood and then offering, you know, this dude's fucking claymore or whatever type of sword this is. This is so cool. So for that reason, you get to hang out in the decent. If you're in my regular rotation of decks, definitely go hang out in base, but for now, you get a decent third place on our list so far. Next up, we got Korvold Fey Cursed King, another great story with the name and then the art, and you can just kind of, with the flavor text and everything, you got a great canvas here of a character. However, I don't have anything personal against this card. I just have bad memories associated with how it was released. There were these weird constructed decks that they made like right around whenever Throne of Eldraine came out, and then this card came out with it, and it was just super powerful in Standard. This card is another one of those generically powerful kind of, you know, combo or just value engine kind of creatures. However, it is a Dragon Noble, and that art is really fucking great. I love that art. I am just going to go ahead and put you on mid, mostly because I'm not a big fan of you, but I do like your art. Next up, we have Lathril, Blade of the Elves. Fantastic card. Well, I don't really know if it's fantastic. I just know that it's played a lot in EDH Rec, and I slapped it together, and I played with it, and then I won a game with the ability. I assume that you're going to win with this ability pretty often. Obviously, this deck used to be Etsuri, Renegade Leader, right? So half the time you're probably going to want to win with Lathril. The other half of the time you're just looking for your Etsuri or your Triumph of the Hordes. And this art, it's fine, you know. She is a bit too blue for me. She looks like she's suffering from asphyxiation. You know, maybe she's got some sort of night elf kind of looking thing here, and she's got very gaudy armor with a really cool Skyrim-ass looking sword here. But I do own her. I do play her somewhat regularly, so she gets put in the base tier. And finally, we have Wilhelt, the Rot Cleaver. It's probably one of the ugliest names I've ever seen on a Magic card. Just from beginning to end, it is unsatisfying to say and even more unsatisfying to read. The art is kind of interesting. He's with his spirit-imbued axe or necromancy-imbued axe here is leading a horde of zombies. He looks I guess. He's got a bit of BDSM going on. I do like his coat here. That does look pretty nice with his hood here. But I'm just not really a fan of the look. As far as abilities go, I've never really seen this card before, so whenever another zombie you control dies, if it didn't have Decayed, create a 2/2 with Decayed. Okay, whatever. At the beginning of your end step, you may sacrifice a zombie. If you do, draw a card. Okay, I get why this is played. This is a pretty decent engine here for just value in general. If I played this deck, you know, I probably would be enjoying myself with a weird kind of like blue-black aristocrat value engine style. But I don't, and for that, you know, it'll be... I really don't like the name. You know, if it didn't have the same name, it would be in mid, but because it's Wilhelt the Rock Cleaver, a gross-ass name, you stay in the bad tier. Sorry, Wilhelt, nothing personal against you. It's just that your name fucking sucks. And so there you go. There's my totally arbitrary and also very correct list that you must follow to a T. And if you don't, I will come to your house and I will find you and I will make you recite the alphabet in Spanish backwards. And if you can do that, then I'll make you read the dictionary backwards. How's that sound? Anyways, my name's Amanda Dork. You all been wonderful, and I'll catch you next time.